And the Buddha continues, when you have obtained a vision of these things, you should then focus your mind on the Buddha. Why should you do this? The Buddha explains, why should we focus the mind on the Buddha? Why should we be mindful of Amitabha? 我们为什么念佛？tại sao phải niệm Phật? So the Buddha here is trying to explain why it is so important to be mindful of Amitabha. The Buddha says, the body of all Buddhas and all the Tathagatas, New Life, is the realm of reality. And they enter into the focused minds of all living beings. Therefore, when you focus your mind on the Buddha, your mind takes on the 32 major physical characteristics and 80 minor physical characteristics of the Buddha. These are the beauties of the Buddha, result of his great merits. In other words, when we focus on the Buddha, we are constructing this mentality of beauty. And when your mind is beautiful, your life is also beautiful. Because we cannot change our physical body this lifetime very easily. Another way is to indirectly influence it by changing the mind. Therefore, when we focus on the Buddha, we are reminded of the compassion, the loving kindness, wisdom, and merits, and therefore we are resonating with the greatness of the Buddha, and we are transforming our mind, and therefore we begin slowly but surely transforming our life, the physical body as well. So the Buddha here explaining why it is important to be mindful of the Buddha. And the Buddha says, when your mind creates the Buddha, your mind becomes the Buddha. The oceans of all the perfectly awakened Buddhas arises from the focused mind. Therefore, you should concentrate your attention with an integrated mind and visualize the Buddha, the Tathagatas, the Arhat, the perfectly awakened Buddha with great care. So when we are focused on the Buddha, we are transforming ourselves to become like the Buddha. And here, the realm of reality, as we mentioned up here, the body of all the Buddhas, all the Tathagatas, is the realm of reality. So when we focus on the Buddha, we are focusing on reality, but we need to understand what it means. When we chant Amitabha, it's just not the name, but we have to understand what are we chanting, what are we being mindful of, right? Means none or not. Mita is limited, and Ba is short for Buddha, enlightenment. So unlimited, infinite enlightenment. When we are chanting Amitabha, we are reminded to not be delusional, to see things as they are, and to understand conditionality. Therefore, the realm of reality here, the translation is called Fa Jie, Fab Yei, and that's the Chinese equivalent of Sanskrit, Dhamma Dhatu. Dhamma is Fa, Fab, Dhatu is realm, world. So the Buddha didn't teach that the world is illusory. But the Buddha, he said that we are deluded. And the purpose of spiritual practice is ultimately to know and see things as they are. The Buddha did not say that things don't exist. We misinterpret things based on our afflictions, based on our emotions. So to be more specific here, the Buddhist doctrine, real means without an enduring self. So it's not like something that really truly exists on its own. That's not when we say realm of reality. Doesn't mean that there's something called reality that permanently exists. But the realm of reality is to see that there is no enduring self, no substance, no essence of it. 无我, vô ngã. All things whatsoever includes even skillful state of mind are without self, such as our greed, our anger, our confusion are not permanent. We may be deluded now, we may have anger, but that anger is not permanent. Because we, one day, next moment, we will be happy and we will not be angry. Therefore, it's not permanent. Dhamma Dhatu Fa Jie, Fab Yei, embraces both nirvana and samsara, wisdom and ignorance, awakened mind and unawakened mind. This is one way of looking at reality. But of course, we should understand what that means, and not just to say, oh, everything's all mixed up. There's no order, because nirvana is the same as samsara, and wisdom is the same as ignorance. So, I'm ignorant, so therefore I have wisdom. That's not what it means. This is not to say that unskillful states are awakened. When we chant Amitabha and we are mindful of Amitabha, the Buddha says that we are Amitabha, but it doesn't mean that we are truly Amitabha. In other words, we don't stop cultivating. We don't stop practicing. These opposites may have the same nature. Think of it as like two sides of the same coin. The difference, though, between awakened and unawakened is that the awakened mind knows and sees that all things are with selfhood. And the unawakened mind does not see that. So even though we have the ability to become awakened, but sometimes we become deluded because we forget. We become attached. When it says we are the Buddha, it doesn't mean that we're actually Buddha, but we have the ability to become Buddhas. And the Buddha says that the body, the physical form, contains or expresses the whole of reality. Therefore, when we visualize Amitabha or Shakyamuni Buddha, we are visualizing reality, because his body expresses the whole of reality. And it is the body that we will be visualizing. So when we focus our mind on the Buddha, the realm of reality enters our mind. And therefore, based on conditionality, it does not allow the negativity to grow. And therefore, we can stop the negativity from inhibiting us towards our success, which is migrating to the Western Pure Land. When your mind creates the Buddha, your mind becomes the Buddha. So we should understand that we have the ability to do so, but we continue to march on and not to stop and claim victory.